Lop wa Joero Senyonyi olunaku olwaleero ayina kampuni gy'akyaliddeko eyo gye pharmacy nga waliwo ensimbi empitirivu zebadde esombola ng'etwala buli kadde mbo bino. Agambye nti together with some colleagues who are part of the shadow cabinet, we today held an oversight visit to Biopharma Limited, a company which intends to manufacture vaccines and other drugs in Matuga Works. A supplementary request tabled in Parliament by the Minister of Finance to give an extra 578 billion to this private company, on top of the 145 billion, making it a total 723 billion. The company had in 2020 promised to manufacture a vaccine that would kill the coronavirus, but that didn't happen. Cabinet ye gyakulembera nayo Parliament ku ludda lwa gavumenti ya Kyagulanyi abagenze ewakiseeyo Matuga company manyiddwa nga Biopharma ng'eno evunaanyizibwa kukola vaccine oba eddagala erikozesebwa mu kugema. Agambye nti ng'ennaku z'omwezi enkyali eky'okujongera ssente nga yali yeetaaga ssente obukadde 5 biliyoni obuwumbi 578, naye ng'ate si ya gavumenti ya muntu buntu nga okugjeeko ezaagiwe 45 ewezi omugatte gwa buwumbi 723. N'agamba nti kampani eno mu mwaka gwa 2020 baatugamba oba yatugeta nti yali egenda kukola eddagala tetwabirabako oba wamwe lyatuuka tetumanyi. Ayongeddeko n'agamba government said it was bailing out the debt-ridden company by buying shares. However, the company had not been valued, so what state government was acquiring since the company's worth wasn't known. Nti government yarugamba eregezaako okutaasa kampani eno okubanga eyali etubidde mu mabanja ng'eyagala egiggyeyo, naye ate ng'omuwendo ogw'ekampani wali tegumanyiddwa nga government egambye kampani ogutategerekeka. N'agamba also there was no agreement between the government and the company, so the idea of giving the company 723 billion of taxpayers' money with all those uncertainties. Ndagaano eyaliwo wakati wa gavumenti ne kampani eno nga eyagala okujiwa obukadde obwo yayitematiza kubanga byali tebikwatagana nga tebitegerekeka. Despite our resistance, the supplementary request passed. In line with our role of keeping the government in check, we went to establish the goings on. Nti bagenzeeyo nga omulimu gwabwe ogw'okucekinga ogw'okulaba ensimbi z'omuso ziragawa bagenzeeyo okukola omulimu ogwo. The company management told us the company has no with the government has been signed. Nti abakulu ba company bategeeza nti omuwendo gwa company eno gwategeerekese era endagaano yaabwe ne gavumenti emaze okuteekebwako ekinkumu. Although these documents were not availed to us, nti newankubadde nga ebiwandiiko bino tebibaweereddwa. To sometimes bail out private companies. As a country, we ought to have a clear policy on how private companies get to be bailed out. Newankubadde kitegeerekeka nti gavumenti ebiseera ebisinga nezireebareeba ezigenda okugwa neziwayo kasente. Naye ng'ensi tulina okubaawo n'enkola ennuŋŋamu obulungi eyitibwamu okukola omulimu guno ogw'okuwa kampuni ezigwa akasente. Who qualifies and how to ensure there is value for taxpayers? Okusalawo ani alina okuweebwa ssente z'omuwi omusolo. Otherwise, it will always be seen as unfair when some companies are handpicked to be bailed out while others are left to collapse. Tekijja kuba kya bwenkanya okubanga kampuni ezimu zirondebwamu okugwa oba zifa zife oba ziggwawo ziggweewo. Nolwekyo njagala nkwe nga bwe bibaddeyo nga Lop Gy'Osenyonyi ne banne abakyalidde kampani eno owulire ebyogeddwa naawe osobole okutambula wamma mwana wa taata n'okumanya.
My name is Joel. First of all, thank you for coming. That's why when you want to ask to come here, join the directors, we have nothing to hide. We are not like where Honorable Kuli keeps going and stuff. You don't want to see anymore. And I think I've killed that. Because you told me, no, we shall come. It's too much to say. You're welcome to the family. Since you are the one who requested to come, I want to give you a little bit of going to produce human medicine. You've seen the factory, just probably you've seen 5% of what is happening. We have the vaccines, which we are now assembling the machines. We have the generic medicine, which is ready to switch off anytime today. We have cancer, which you see the other side is being settled. And then we have other things that we use, eye drops, general drops, all that medicine, that will be needed. So we have over 3,000 formulations that we are going to develop in. I think, in my view, is the biggest in the continent, is the biggest in Uganda, and you are going to feel it when you come here to walk around. Seated on over 150 acres of land. Planned to employ 40,000 people. US plus. Valuation by government. Our valuation gave us more. We currently have close to 300 employees who are already here. And as we develop different sectors, we employ people. So this is the way you do it. And he's a scientist. He's a scientist. Scientists don't talk a lot. They are not like the politicians I'm looking at. So I will ask him to say a few words before I invite him to say something. Most welcome. When we received the letter, I was supposed to finish the
you've seen this morning, when the chair says it's the largest in Africa, it's not even by us. I don't know if they visited here. So he's talking here about some of the things we're doing. Some of these drugs don't even come back because they are very expensive. Those drugs, they are the latest cancer drugs. That our people, almost 80% come. It's a global facility that is going to help our country to be a net exporter of drugs, not a net importer. Because when the government imports 85% of all the want that to remain here. And these have been built to exactly do that. We are not only going to do human medicine, but also animal medicine, veterinary medicines. We have that section also. We are going to total project value is going to be more than half of that money. And we thank you for the support that has been there. So, I don't have much to say. And you see for your look. I see that there is one very common
be here. When I saw your call this morning, I thought you asked me about political things. You know, you said politicians talk too much and you pointed at this thing. I thought you would point at yourself too. This is mainly the shadow cabinet, except for the post MD, to come and establish what's going on here. The first feedback I got, I don't know who replied. Somebody replied saying, see, we are busy having some installations and so on. I said, no. If there is installations happening and so on, that's okay. We don't have to go where there is, I don't know, falling debris and so on. We still want to come and have an interface with the top management. And I said we can have follow-up engagements, you know, after you install whatever you come. My major interest in coming together with my colleagues, my duty, our duty, is to keep the government in check. We follow the money, follow taxpayers' money. That's why we are here. Before us in Parliament, a supplementary request. 578 billion shillings of that was for day biopharma. The allocation of that money to day biopharma, because I had questions. Of science and technology had no answers to. So because they could not answer those our questions, we said we are opposed to this allocation. We knew we were going to lose on the numbers, but I said I wanted to be on record having said no to this to be answered. And since the ministers could not provide those answers, I said, let me come. Hopefully I can get some of those questions answered, if not all of them. And so that's why we are here. To get some answers, to have a fair understanding. A total of 723 billion has been allocated today by Biopharma. The first amount was in 2023. Government gave 75 billion shillings. In 2024, last year, there was a supplementary of 70 billion shillings. And then this year, about 723.4 billion. That's a lot of money. So our duty is to follow taxpayers' money to establish what exactly is the money doing. Is there value for money? How does the investment, because it's taxpayers' money. Anyway, I want to firstly appreciate you for opening your doors for us to come. There are some places we go to play our oversight role, and they keep the gate closed. I told my colleagues that if we're going to come, just so you know, we're going to come, and you were going to bounce us from the gate, but we were going to come. That's how seriously we take our job of keeping the government in check. So I'm glad for your own good you let us in, because you know when you close your doors, it shows there's something business. But since the media is here, we have been following up on Lubowa Hospital, and we are still following up. We're not going to stop. Each time we go there, they don't allow us to access. And yet the taxpayer has injected over 600 billion shillings. So my narrative is, when you close your doors to us who are meant to check and follow the taxpayers' money, so maybe somebody advised you that don't lock those guys out, it will be for your good. Because the news would be, the Farmer has blocked members of parliament from accessing to do their job. So for me, you have ticked box number 1. But there are many other boxes you have got to tick. It's important that those boxes get to be ticked. I do have a few questions. I'm sure my colleagues do, as time will allow. So we get some answers to questions. Again, some of the questions will be fairly hard questions. Don't take it personal. Not bothered that much. And this is Joel Sengen being honest here. Because of the questions we do ask, sometimes people get angry with us, and that's okay. You will still go home and sleep soundly. Not bothered so much that okay. Part of my job. Yeah. So don't worry that you'll get annoyed with the questions we'll ask. Just so you know, it's okay. But we still have to do our job. But again, we are not here to fight or whatever. We just want to know what's going on. It's got to be known publicly during COVID. COVID was such a precarious situation for our country and the world at large. People died in droves. Many Ugandans died as well. Around that time, we were all very excited to say, finally, there seems to be a remedy. And you did promise a COVID vaccine. We waited and waited. It did not come. It would just be good to have an update. What happened to that vaccine? Because part of the reason why I personally oppose. But wait, these people previously promised a vaccine. It did not come. Now, you want us to give them more money. Based on what? Because there's a promise that wasn't fulfilled. So it's important we get to know what happened. It helps also in building credibility. Yeah? Because in opposing, I only saw you on TV. I didn't even know this man was part of your team. So there was nothing personal, it's just principles of, but wait, all of this money, what exactly is it going to do? There had been a promise of a COVID vaccine. It did not happen. You just update us. 2, government valued this company because in Parliament we did ask the ministers for a valuation report. They did not have it. And they were honest with us and they said valuation has not been done yet. For government to buy a stake in a company whose value you do not know. Common sense says no. So I said, how do you want us to inject these billions of shillings as a way of buying a stake, government buying a stake into a company whose value you do not know? So what stake are you acquiring? Now you're saying valuation was done. It would be good for us to look at that valuation report by the chief government valuer, so that we know what's the worth of the company. In fact, one of the examples I gave in Parliament was, okay, so now that you say you will eventually do the valuation, what if you value the company and but you have put 723 billion shillings? So I had a problem with that. So it would be good to see a valuation report too, have with government. Because government said this company is struggling with a loan, and so this was a bailout, and resultantly it would give government stake as a way of saving this company from losing its property and so on. Said, okay, as we buy stake, is there some kind of agreement with government and so on? Because when we did ask ministers in Parliament, they didn't have any, and they told us there was none yet. Again, I told them, common sense dictates you can't do that. Government to say, but so how are you extending money? I'm saying you're buying a stake and there is no basis, agreement, and so on and so forth. It's important that that becomes clear. It will also be good to get an update on the debts, because the request for SURVE, the company, will be clear its debts. What's happening around that? The other is, I'm sure you had a lot of talk of, but who exactly is the owner of this company? You all have been hearing those questions. Saying, but wait, this company here wanted, company X wanted a government bailout, government said no. Company Y wanted a bailout, government said no. The Bio-Farmer wants a bailout, they are given money. And so people keep coming up with ideas of maybe this one is owned by this person in government or the other and so on. Who owns this company? Maybe finally for now, you talk to us about getting set to begin producing vaccines, medicine, and so on. Because many times promises are made, like I was asking about the COVID vaccine, there was a promise, nothing did come through. When do you hope to begin producing medicines, vaccines, and an idea about the return on investment for return so far, and maybe tie this in. I know I'd say finally, in asking for the kind of arrangement and so on. Yeah, whether there was a signed agreement, whether there was a board resolution. You chair the board, sir. Was there a board resolution? Because you see, government also can't buy a stake by force. There is entity X which wants to acquire a stake in our company, so the board passes a resolution which has got filing. I don't know if that happened. Okay, let me stop there for now. Maybe first answer these questions, then the colleagues are going to answer.
intention was to provide governance and leadership to ensure anybody who has been in the scientific world knows that science. But one of the areas I wanted you to visit today is the mRNA installation, where we are processing to produce all the vaccines, including the one you use during the installation. The technicians are already here, so that one was a miscommunication. When the man said, in this place we are going to produce a vaccine, he actually meant it. The first time I drove here, it's the first question I asked, and he said, come and I take you to the facility. The reason why we came to government that was in the process. The company had reached point. That one was not a lie. Now, the second thing, which he says, government valued. To be honest, by that time there was no value. What we had was our own value, and we knew it, but government needed to come at value. And the valuation was done. There is a government valuation report, which you should be demanding from government valuer, Attorney General, Minister of Finance to give you. But for convenience, we are going to show you a copy, which is here. When that value was done, $2.1 billion by government valuer. Our valuer had given us slightly higher value, but we said we'll take what government has valued, computed it against the government's contribution, the total value for government of the total value. And I want to remind you and to remind everyone that the value of this installation is not in the infrastructure, it's in the intellectual property. And I am happy that the government valuer was able to value the difference between report and what the government gave us is actually in a margin of about 10%. So we said we'll go by that numbers. So that one, you'll have it. Arrangement with government. By the time we were in Parliament asking for government contribution, I also want to tell you that actually there was no arrangement. Eventually it was done. Agreement between the government of Uganda on behalf of the people of Uganda and they, Biopharm, the contract was signed. I mean the agreement. The entity of government, the Minister of Finance, and Ministry of Science and Technology on this. To you, so that it's no longer a question, it's not a private thing, because I remember myself, the director signing, the Attorney General signing, and the Minister signing, and the Minister of Finance. So that was sort of, we should be asking the Attorney General to give you a copy. We had several things. 2015, we have been managing them. Technically, there were hefty debts. Others, suppliers, others, banks. And I want to tell you that we've been managing debts through reconciliation, because the biggest they pay. And when I came here, I demanded that first we audit the loans before we can pay anybody. Unfortunately, there are loans that we are still reconciling. We are asking for document A, they give you B, they called on another. And we are saying, we want to know the document. We reconcile and we pay you. They say, give us the money, and we say, first give us the document, we reconcile the loan. There is something I want you people to know about banks, because I am a banker. They will give you an interest of 17%. They will collect money worth the 23% interest per month. And when we discovered that, all loans must be subjected to a reconciliation. And I am happy it's going on. And once we've done, whoever we owe the money, we shall pay. But we are not going to get public fund, give to an entity simply because they have given us a credit. So we've been very careful with that one. Many of you have dealt with me, know, I am able to protect this money. It's not forgiving. So there is that. Now, who is the owner of this factory? I saw Honorable Zake when he came here, he said, you're also here. I don't own. I was brought in here to manage the. In the articles that I have no doubt that I know the owner of this factory, Dr. Magola and Kelly. They are the owners of this factory. For the 2 years I've been here, I have not seen any other person. So there are two people, and they are seated in front of you here. When do we start? I want to report to you that in our work plan, we are first going to have the first medicine this October. The generic sector, which we are moving, is ready for production. We've been cleared by National Drug. We've been cleared by EMA, the European Medical Association, to start production. So that medicine is going to come. But I want you to bear in mind, if you're scientists and seated here, medicine is not like a production of wheat. It goes through batches. No reason not to start. National Drug Authority has given, who has the certificate state? They have given us suitability of facility, they have given us a clearance ready for production. This is something that you need to start to produce medicine here.
Doctor, speak English. What are you saying? Non-vital what?
Non-vital lactams. A type of antibiotic.
So all general category molecules we got.
Okay, maybe we can take some questions from colleagues. Ways to look at that if the main value report. It's one of
in knowing the equity of government and the value of. We have known the partners in this marriage, the lady and the gentleman in front of us. We are coming, government is coming into this marriage as a poor person, marrying or getting married.
The background of our rich partners. What are their previous business background?
Where have they accumulated money to the extent of having more money than government? And then the other one is a local. So there is a lot of production, mass production is going to take place. Human medicine and animal medicine are more interested in knowing the raw materials going to be used in the production process. The reason is if to produce those raw materials and they supply the factory in terms of supporting the immediate neighbors. Then lastly, the corporate social responsibilities. I want to know the engagement of this project in a nearby community. What kind of for the neighbors or the people living in this particular community? Thank you.
I prefer answering the first question before I get mixed up. And I will start with the last question.
If you take three.
Yeah. These are already
Okay, Honorable Nyeko here, then yes.
Well, mine is government has come out to aid so many factories that are operating within. But the cost at the end of the day for the final product is actually higher for the local person than the said. 80% of our people cannot afford these medicines. How are you going to make it cheaper? The fact that it's produced here for the local people to benefit. Thank you.
As we are seeking government to bail you out, bail this project out, the query was about the audit queries, whereby you reached at a stage and things were bad for you. And what we are wondering about and what the public is concerned about, and you're gonna reach a stage like, for example, we've heard about the local, whenever it's bailed out, it comes back again till it's bailed out, and you're gonna come back again. I'm happy that there is a finance manager here to tell us how are you audited, so that there is. For money. I thank you.
Okay. Can I come to government, by the time they are asking for money in Parliament, gave it a price, subjected it to the amount of investment government has put in. And I can tell you, government value in this project as of now is 9.4%. 9.4 was 2.1 billion US dollars. Subject that to that, the 72.73, 723. You'll be able to get the price. Remember, We are talking about dollar against the shilling. So if you subject that to a mathematical equation, we did not determine that. Ours had actually given about 7.9, our valuer, but we agreed with government valuer. Said, in research, in statistics, we have the variance, the margin of error in calculation. So, members, the relationship between government and the farmer was sealed in writing. I would encourage you to demand for that contract from the Attorney General, because it's a public document. That's number one. An investment expert, there are various sources of funding. One of them could be, I have a friend of mine and he gives me money, and I will invest that money, create value out of it. The other one could be that I've been a business person. And many of you who are asking this question, I would interest you to know, what was Magola? Give an individual $1 million in loan, if you are not credit worthy. 200 billion shillings. Why? So I am bringing to this to see the value of a person that existed before government came in. Equity, and they got a value of that person. So that one is again a question of you understanding what kind of person he was. He is a business person. He was involved in various businesses. I'm not even going to describe that. But many of you who know, he was an expert. Fits into the question you asked, what happened? Many of us know that when COVID struck, business went to sleep. And when they slept, the profit failed.
Interject.
Yes.
Chair, I want
Maybe
to
could he? Let me finish.
something little I want to. The one who asked the question was saying that we have directors, or which directors can explain themselves, who they are, not the chairman.
I would encourage that you do that.
Right.
Allow me to answer these questions, and if you have a direct question to him, where the materials coming from? Somebody asked here, I think, Honorable. In our description, cassava is going to produce locally. And if where you can produce, I would encourage you to get in touch with specification of what kind of cassava, what kind of maize you're going to have to produce. We are encouraging people to produce because it's going to be needed. In fact, I saw Minister of Science and Technology setting up a farm somewhere to start production of cassava. Wherever you have good cassava. CSR, and I'm going to describe this from an academic point of view. And I'm going to distinguish between CSR and shared value. CSR, isn't it? That you have made profit. What's the benefit to the people around? I am surprised somebody is asking a cow which has not even started delivering, where is the milk? In our business program, which we can share with you, shared value, that he makes money, the community makes money, and it benefits. It's called shared value in a business context. And that one is going to follow the dog. That's why when we went to look for this CFO, we looked for the best you can have. the best you can have. He has run Murwana, he has run this Morbid, multi-billion companies, and we went and we said, we want you here, and we took the best. So that one, CSR, shared value, will benefit. They're already benefiting, by the way. I can tell you the number of women who enter that gate every morning to come and clean, to come and plant grass. They are making already a living even before Nebogera makes. And for me, that is the beauty. We are planning to have 40,000 employees. 40,000. When I look at the employment portfolios, 40,000. Assuming those are redundant, which other factory in this country employs more than that? None. None. When you go there, would employ few nurses, few doctors. But this is a manufacturing facility. So that one, I promise you, we are paying attention. And there is a commitment. Thank you.
Okay, maybe just before, I wanted to... It's actually not prying so much into the life of Dr. Nebogera. It helps you, for people out there, to know that this person didn't arrive from nowhere. It helps to also answer the question of, but where did this man come from? How all of a sudden, yeah? To answer it, because it responds to so much out there that is not understandable. How all of a sudden did this man come to be what this faith that banks can lend him so much money, the government can partner with him. I saw there was some kind of presentation there. I don't know if that's part of it. So that has acquired a stake of 9.4%. Would that mean that 91.6%? 90.6 actually. 90.6 is Yeah, would that mean that the 90.6 is shared between the two of you? Yeah, maybe let him respond to that. I don't know how long your presentation is, then we'll take other questions.
No, I did not get my response because
Very good. I am very sorry I missed that one. One of the objective of this company was to reduce the prices of commodities. Let me tell you what constitutes a price. What constitutes a price is flight. That's number one. Taxes. The product here, and he will explain to you, which he was saying the cancer medicine is very expensive. You can't buy it outside there. Here you'll be able to buy it because it's not going to be priced at an international price. The prices for all the costs, what constitutes a price, in fact for us in economics we call the resting place of a tax. That one, which goes to the consumers. Now, once you take away all of those elements, the price automatically of the product comes down. Here and pack. We are not doing that. We are producing. The difference between somebody who has brought something and then he just puts it here and packages it, he will sell you that price. Now, here, unfortunately, you didn't go to the laboratory. I wish you went there, you would have seen. Used here. What is the justification for you to charge a tax on that product? Because what constitutes that are eliminated? the price cannot be as high as you can see. So that one I guarantee. We've already done the pricing values, and is to eliminate imports. Eliminate imports. So we want to set up an import substitution factory. So you have no reason to bring a product whose prices will be high and people will not buy. So they'll run here. So anybody who wants to sell, they will let it.
Okay, let's allow Dr. Magola to make this quick presentation. Maybe it will have responses to some of the questions we have, yeah? In fact, we should have begun with that. I don't know why we were not told that there was...
This is a new malaria drug. Patents in the US. We need a team of fellow scientists, FDA, US FDA, for a new product for treatment of cancer. And then FDA has given a response. More than 75%, 75 patents that have been filed in the US, including treatment of cancer, treatment of so many other diseases. Just right. It's reviewed by authored many of those, and if you can go to our website, you'll be able to see some of it. Nebogera is not just an organization, but is deep into the violence. And what that Nebogera and his team, we had mobilized more than 2 trillion before government came, including 500 billion from banks, local banks, and our other partners. Nebogera had 5 factories in the country. The other side, those are part of our factories. But when COVID came, all that came to stand. But we had to dispose it. Nebogera was moving well. Nebogera team was moving well until COVID came. But also some subtours who failed that. I want to assure you that this is a game changer for this country. We follow the target. What we are doing here, no other person is doing that. So, why would then President Museveni and his country pulling a lot of money? In the farmer, that's not a good money. Because when we employ about 40,000 people, in the high paying job, that the money will be able to get from pay as you earn. From us. Our revenue is projected to be $10 billion high. Gas, everybody is talking about oil and gas. But our revenue by the 10th year will exceed $10 billion high. So just imagine that value the GDP of the country. It's massive. So what are we doing? And again, you can find some of my books that what is wrong. So why is this project so special? Why is it so special? It's because our president has been talking about GDP of $500 billion. The country from 65 billion. We have already we shall share the valuation. And we don't agree with that very well. It's not that we agree with it. Because our values that were done by the US team is much higher than what they have shown here. So, why are we so special? It's because what we are
the technology. I don't know about the technology. It's unfortunate that I didn't have time to go to the mRNA vaccines, the first biotech company facility in Africa. We are going to make mRNA vaccines, peptides in that facility. You don't find time to go there. You go there and see what they're doing. The facility was. They just heavily packed it and brought it in the country. So that assembly needed to start manufacturing the vaccine. But because our facility is not ready, and we have our, you asked me about the COVID-19 vaccine. We have it. Once this facility is ready, we just transfer the technology, start manufacturing the product. But once we are not ready, we license to other people to manufacture the same facility. We are doing that in many countries. People don't even their products will go to the license. So what they will in Uganda, because we know that Uganda needed these goods. Now, we talked about, you asked about raw material. After 10 years from now, we are going to need 500 tons of cassava every day. I don't think even the person can supply that. Paris, okay, to grow maize, to grow cassava and maize to supply it. So this is a game changer for the country. We cannot be a country generating about $6 billion in people. We want to be able to change that country, change the farmers, put money in their pockets. If we manufacture starch, pharmaceutical starch, and advanced starch, glucose. We are putting all the glucose in this. We are going to produce maltose. We are going to produce fructose. That is needed in this facility. I hope that these are fair development. They are not guarantee you that to be comfortable. The 700 billion talking about, that's very little money compared to what we are doing. Before government came in, we are doing more than 2 trillion. Government came in and we thank you. And we continue to farm. You like what it is. This is too big, so some people feel like very sabotage this problem. And they stop funding from our partners. Give money to this problem. That's what they do. But we can assure you that now government is back in the project. Our partners also. And actually for us, we are looking at this money to be given back to government. So that we probably government can give it to other people who want it. It's a joke.
Yes, hold on, Chair. Yes, hold on. The mic is coming, yeah? Maybe what's rattling people. Dr. Matthias Magola, first of all, just a second. Just hold on. Don't worry, Chair. Don't worry. Coming back to you, sir. Just to clarify a bit, yeah? So, there's it is little money. To us as a country, we are a poor country. 723 billion is a lot of money. Yeah? I pray to God that we don't remain a poor country forever. But for now, 723 billion to a country like Uganda is a lot of money. That's why you see this whole serious come here for just 723 billion. It's because from where I sit, it's a lot of money. And it must be accounted for. Taxpayers' money. Yeah? Two, you have said something interesting that in fact you want to give it back to government so that other people. Why the bailout if maybe there was no real need? But two, if you're saying okay you were sabotaged, then government came in and So saying yes.
When he says he had gotten the right money to pay government saboteurs, he has also explained that this facility will be buying to take care of the with an exit clause. Should we make enough money to the point of funding government will walk away. They are not going to be a permanent partner once they have been given the money. Because government is not in the business of doing business. Get their returns back and walk away. That's how government operates. A government has got no credibility, has got no ability to do business. And that's not their business is what my brother here, Joel, is doing, politics. So when he we did not need the money, but he says we actually did not need the money until that sabotage came.
What was the sabotage?
We can't disclose that. But one of the sabotage was actually the natural disaster of COVID. If you cannot export, what will be the high level the sabotage that happened? And me, one day when we a lot of explanation. You understand? So media, you are very good at
I want to proceed. Honorable you look like you.
And as a lawyer, I was cautious when Dr. Wakida hinted on how the factory was evaluated. And you claim that also the company has a contribution, putting the shareholding at 9.4 for government and 90.6 for these directors. You were also quick to add this factory is in intellectual property. Now this brings my question, and this is what my area of concern. Basically, intellectual property, I believe you are looking at largely patent and possibly trade. Basically, its valuation is based on the market cost, and I think some three basic mechanism of valuing it. There is a possibility that this valuation is fictitious, it's unknown. We want to understand marks, that's bad because what is the origin of these patents and not trademarks? The origin, how was the valuation handled? To leave you with that bigger margin, to a level retaining 90% after a very good government documentation, because it was your submission that largely it is in intellectual property. This is a very serious revelation. And second, the last one here, I heard in the news last month that the company is still indebted with a lot of court cases. I don't know whether they are triggered by Is the government money safe? Was taken by you, by the bank? What happened along the way? And then lastly, law. When directors claim that they are the owners, we need to look at the company documentation, at least in their position.
Okay,
when you quickly assess what's happening here, you are seeing a certain good percentage of what the infrastructure is supposed to be is still ongoing. And our touring, the little we did, by the way, for us, we are going to come back. I'm with the constituency MP, and that's why we December or November, since you've told us you are yet to commence in October, so we've given ourselves some good days when you are done with the commencement, and then we should come back. So, with my architecture background, I'm seeing that what you are showing so far on market and the progress of the works that have commenced, that lead to a small assessment of what is expected in each of these spaces. You realize that something is still small. So my question is, as you get yourselves, what percentage of the infrastructure have you commenced on? And as far as the spaces are concerned, much as you are referring to as the lab, which how far are you? That little 723 is billion.
My question goes to Mr. Nebogera. Remember, what's your actual data budget? Yes, this 1 billion. Do you have environmental impact assessment report? Because we see a lot of factories they are swamp. They are reclaiming swamp area. The assessment report from them or the certificate, so that you can be sure that you got a license or you are given a leeway to discuss it. And thirdly, about the ownership of this land for almost names of the owner, the names of the company. So we need to know the actual owner of the land of this facility. Thank you.
Can we answer this?
When you hear about it, it's like, yeah, our country is now safe. But now, yesterday we had a factory that is owned by the government, and they were crying that one of the reasons why they are not doing well is because of the imported products that are cheap and they affect them. Now my question is, after everything,
and I do appreciate the 40,000 that you are yet to employ when you start business. I want to know from among the 40,000 that you are yet to employ, who of those in the technical line would be from Uganda, from those from other countries? Because normally there's times where ours start with the sweepers, those that do gainfully earn out of the business normally. I mean, they are from abroad, so you find yourself expatriating most of the money that would have benefited from the company. Then too, we do observe that government gave you money. Yes, it might be little to Mr. Magola, but we also know you are affected. I want to know, with this all done, are we set to move on with business? Or much as you said, you don't anticipate to get any money from government. But should we say that if all this is done, you are set off to do business? And when you told us about those that interrupted business, for me, in courts, at other level. So you don't get afraid of disclosing some of that to the saboteurs to the law. Because I'm telling you, you will get to a level where you think you're going to start operating business, and they will come. We know the level is political. It is political, much as you don't budget, and to some extent to a science and technology. I want to know, did you ever get money through science and technology, through the innovation fund
I appreciate the team from the pharmacy group for the work well done. And we appreciate the fact that you came up with this innovation. So my key question, the key concern I have is where are we able to gain those documents so that we can have a look at them to confirm what you tell us. Also, I'm looking at the staff, gender composition, and the overall composition. I would also like to have Mr. Magola. It would also be interesting or good to see what the partner, the director, also has to offer. And then the welfare of the people I see around that are working, besides the staff that are sitting with us here, some of the staff here. Professional hazards, in case they are out there working, what do you do for them? How do you support them as a company? But also, do you have a plan somewhere or a policy within your documents, your main English documents, that will cater to their needs in case they... I am also interested in knowing what are some of the key milestones you set out yourselves to. What are we going to also pin onto the government, besides, so that you can be able to check on that properly. And then I would want to know, Doctor, you mentioned that the time. I'm wondering, is this drug also on our market here? Did you give us some as Ugandans, or it's just out there for other people to use, and for us we are still left out to hang dry and look, as you can see. And I think finally, yes, Bonamga also hinted on it, the wages when you start paying it vis-a-vis the operational costs, Are we going to see the same case of staff, the same case of
the profit moves and forward. Now, there are other things that experts. If you can't get Ugandans to be employed here, we cannot squeeze a stone for this water. Our expectation is that we are going to have as many Ugandans applying for jobs here as they can. To make the business move, all I want to say is that we have benefited from a technology. If you move in the laboratory, the first laboratory Makerere University can use, and all those science schools for children to come and learn, for children to come and participate, it's here in the drug discovery. So the benefit is there. But if you want me to get Mr. Mayor to pick your person from a petrol station to come and work in the laboratory, you're asking for too much. The Ugandans apply for jobs. The jobs are going to be here in phases. Somebody asked,
we don't want to appear as if we are from heaven.
Yes.
We are Ugandans and we know what is happening. If I joined politics and was working under production manager,
we've already started recruiting, and it was in the newspaper. Those who came, when I was recruiting students, I knew none of them. They came, they presented themselves. We used to work with another pharmaceutical company. They came. All I want to say is encourage your people to apply. The jobs are here for everyone. And please don't go behind and say, can we help? No. I know the mayor, they are politicians, they say, fine, you come and get your job. We will bounce you. That one, be sure about that.
Maybe on the jobs as well, you said your projection is to employ 40,000 when we
have close to 150, yes. Casual plus technical. Casual. So those ones are already here. Now somebody is
go to the campus. You need to go to campus. This one is the one in charge of hiring.
Ownership of land, he will explain. Do we expect to borrow again? I don't want to say, let me tell you, I lived in Europe for years. Companies that survive borrow. The question is, do you have the ability to pay? That's the most important thing. To safeguard an organization, if it is of national importance, is this organization of national importance? Those are questions. Now, if you come here and you want to say, will you again come back? Of course, those are not right questions. You are preempting what because to the circumstances and the care to ask the government. Now, you are saying that everything is okay, so you will not come. What we are saying is that we are on course to independence, and once we reach that independence, you don't need to come back to emphasize this. Support the organization. That's what a nationalist does. Shelve yourself out of politics and look at an organization where my son, where my mother's son, goes in water, will have children. This country. So ours should be, how do we get this work? And that's why for me, I came here. And I spend almost all my time here to make sure it does work. And I want to request Zake, let's make this work. You are free to come and check on us. We are not like the other guys in Loki. We are open because we have something to show. Now, thank you very much.
No, just a number of local governments where the plans are approaching.
I want to tell you, this is what I say. Without having an approved plan. It's not a smaller house along the road. By the time you go to NDA, the first question they will ask you, we need this certification. You understand? By the time you go to government, NEMA will want to see the plan. Please find time, come and see. I will come to that. But I want you to know how government processes work. That you cannot start production, building this kind of structure without an infrastructure.
No police information, and especially in Wakiso, yes. For us to move wetlands, you comfortably show you and the reports, but when you get to that, nothing that is supposed to be supported. That is just for his information.
Maybe we'll do digging up on our own.
We'll give you the plan as and when you want it. We'll give you the NEMA clearance as and before you came, that this is what I want to look at it, we will be tabling. Unfortunately, you said we want to start in the bottom, and we are here. Now you are saying, go into your stores and bring ABC. I think you're being very unfair to us.
Anyway, okay.
But in the employment sector, which you were asking, how many are female and how many not? The lead employer is a female. She's ready to start from that. Is a lady. And I can tell you, the majority of staff are women here. And I would encourage you to come back. Come back and interact with them and have free time with them.
Doctor, you chair the board. Who are the representatives?
He's a doctor.
I know suggesting that before we leave this place, provide us with all the names of that particular person.
The particular persons of
the one that you are, the board members.
I want to board member. This is a relationship that has been created before somebody becomes authentic. Authentic, yes, Cosmas. Yes, Cosmas. So, Cosmas Mwikirize is a PhD holder, scientist. It has to be registered. You understand? There is no way I'm going to introduce to you somebody who has not been registered. The reason is this process, the relationship between government and they has just been completed. You know? So if we want that, with that right now it's a process of registering the board. Even we are interim board. We came in to get the organization started. We were invited by the shareholders to come and make sure we help them. That's what we do. Now,
And the other thing of, yes, of course, the company is under the names of legal names of legal. And how do you get money from the bank when you don't have the names of the company? We do have the company.
Then benefiting from the education.
Of course, this vote was created through SDI, but innovation fund.
I did ask to hear briefly from the executive director. You're protected from this man. Hello, Mother, please, let's listen to the email.
Yeah, because as I said, Dr. Wakita, really is clear if he was appointed, if the maybe he was appointed. As we had said, if we knew exactly what you wanted to come and see all the documentation is created anyway. I've been with the group, I can't say they but we started the group way back 2014. We've been in food processing, food, wheat, and then maize. We had that business in IT, and then we've been doing malaria remediation. This is the journey that we have walked for some time, and I would say that was the mother that has produced data in farmer web.
Okay, any closing remarks from Mr. Magola? What a huge task to prove not just to us but to the people of Uganda out there whose money was staked, well, without their consent, but it was staked nonetheless, to prove to them that there is value for their money. We cannot withdraw it. So even us who oppose giving you the money, we are here to follow up and say, okay, we were outnumbered and the money was voted to be given to you, but we are here to find out what is that money doing. So that is something you have got to continuously deliver, so that people out there . speaking in your defense. It would be a good thing for you if one of the community here and then the entire country is speaking in your defense. That's the hard work that you have. But you want Ugandans out there to say, okay, that man was given our money, but we are seeing value for that money. We are not going to stop nagging you people to prove value for that money, because it's a lot of money. And that's why you see us making noise about many other different things. You're not the only ones whom we annoy. I'm hoping we have not annoyed you. But even if we have, it's okay. It's part of our work. But that's why we do what we are doing. In that yet, because we are still going to come. And we'll keep coming to find out what's going on. Please make sure there is value for this money. We talked about agreements, government valuers reports, and so on. We have not seen those things. Hopefully we will see them, whether it be from you or from the Attorney General. Get to see that due diligence being done. Unfortunately, it's being done after the money has gone. My insistence in Parliament, and I was defeated, was let's first do the due diligence before we release money. They said, we have the numbers, so they voted. I said, okay. But all of these pieces have got Where do you watu ina kampuni nyingi eyo z'abana Uganda nabo kampuni yaffe n'ebirala bwe bityo naye nezitaweebwa buyambi, so nze nasooka okubuuza bano bo bwe muwa buyambi musinzidde ku ki okuwa bano abalala ne mutabawa. Ekyokubiri baatugamba nti gavumenti yali egula migabo ku kampuni eno. Yes, kampuni erina amabanja mangi, gavumenti negamba tikakati twalibwa banka n'ebirala, tikakati gavumenti kegula emigabo mu kampuni eno. Naye mu kugula emigabo ne mbabuuza kakati kampuni mwagivaluinga okutegeera nti yo yonna yonna awamu ya sente meka nga temunnagula migabo? Ne bagamba tebannakola valuation. Eyo yali nsobi, era kyovudula ffe twagaana okuwagira ekiteeso ekyokugiwa sente. Newankubadde yeese ekiteeso kyayita kubanga numbers z'abannaffe abalala zaali nnyingi, naye ne tugamba nti ekyo kiba kikyamu. Olina okusooka kukola kye tuyita due diligence. Tonnagula migabo, kampuni yawa sente meka, emigabo emeka, abeera etya, ebyo byonna byonna tebyakolebwa. Kakati ne tugamba kale newankubadde kyayita nga tukiwa kiwagidde, naye sente z'omuwa omusolo zaabaweebwa obuwumbi 723. Kati nga tulina okufolowinga sente ezo zikola ki exactly, ki ekigenda mu maaso. So tuzze wano ne batulambuza, naye nga bwe tugambye Mukulu Magoola nti omuwa omusolo teyamuwa sente kuzimba jasi kizimbe, ayagala kulaba eddagala eryasuubizibwa. Batugambye nti mu weeks 2 bagenda tandika okufulumya eddagala. Katusuubire tebibenga ebya covid vaccine gye batusuubiza netavaayo. Naye batugambye nti chief government value yakola valuation, ebiseera ebisinga Attorney General tumusabe ebiwandiiko naye neyeebuzaabuza naki kati tumanyi oba gyeri, naye tujja following up agreements kyezo wakati wa gavumenti ne kampuni eno. Valuation eyakolebwa eriwa era egamba nti kampuni eno egwamu obuwumbi bwa sente mmeka. Waliwo figa gye batubuulidde naye nga tetulabye ku kiwandiiko kyonna, kiba kizibu okukkirizibwa bwaffe nga leader of opposition ne bannange shadow cabinet bakulembeze bannange ku opposition kulondoola sente ya muwa musolo. So kakati obuwumbi obwo 723 nga twagala okutegeera ki ekigenda maaso. Mwami Magoola agambye nti naye bannaye sente ezo nga si nnyingi nnyo, ne mugamba waayo. Era nga tujja sigala nga tugoberera, twagala okutegeera ebiwandiiko n'ebirala byonna ku ssente y'omuwoomusolo, kubanga ssente zino mpitirivu nga bwe tugoberera ekya Lobowa Hospital. Of course bano kyembasiimyemuko ekyenjawulo tebakoze nga Lobowa Hospital tebatugalidde bweru, kubanga Lobowa Hospital bo baga nti temujja kuyingira, ekitegeeza nti balina newankubadde tuyingidde bingi bye tukyayagala okutegeera documents zino n'ebirala, so that tubeere sure nti ssente z'omuwoomusolo ssente zino yali tazeetaaga kiryawo fact ya planning na kuzizaayo. Gamba well fe ekyo kyali tuwadde n'essanyu bwe zikomawo amangu oba tezeetaagibwa nnyo, kubanga tutekemu eddagala ba intern doctors tebabadde deployed kubanga tewali ssente. Enguudo mbi bwe tugamba nti banna enguudo tuzikoleko gamenga tewali ssente.
Byebyo Lop Wajulu Ssenyonyi erigambo bwekkolero erigenda okukola eddagala erigema endwadde. Katubirinde tujja kuba tubira baffe tuteekewo abiri kyekinaaba ekituufu baba tugambye mbu munaku ntono bana batandise okufulumya eddagala. Tulinde tulirabe oba ddala linaafuluma oba bagenda batuyisa bakusongeddeko nti bannannyini ebibuuzo bingi. Mbaagala nnyo, Mukama Katonda abankuumire, mweraba.